Gas up, gals and pals. We're getting on the road to SpiceWorld. How you doing? Jeff Gretler here, head brand ambassador at Spiceworks, and we're in the shadow of the AT&T Hotel and Conference Center, where in 27-ish days, we're going to kick off the kick-ass conference known as SpiceWorld. So thanks for joining us. This is episode 3 of Road to SpiceWorld. This is to create a little bit of FOMO, a little bit of pregame, a little bit of tailgating, because that's what it's all about, because we want to get you hyped for the big event. I'm a little jazzed myself. We did a little pre-gaming with our buddies from Rippling last night at Cidercade here in Austin, Texas, to get them ready for the big show, and they're going to be on our episode 4 next Friday. But that's next Friday. We're dealing with this Friday, which is today. So I'm not going to do this by myself, right? We want to get you ready for the show. We're doing a lot of awesome sessions and workshops. So I thought, what better way than to get one of those people that's going to give you a SpiceWorld experience with multiple workshops and multiple sessions, including the Beyond Point and Click Unlock PowerShell's Superpower. So please welcome the PowerShell Powerhouse, known as James Petty.
Hey, thanks, Jeff.
James, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. How are you today?
Doing good, doing good. We are all jazzed up on coffee and energy drinks and breakfast. Breakfast is just a second coffee, right?
Right.
So thanks for coming on today, man. So are you ready? We're 27 days. You feeling it? I'm feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah, feeling it. Start getting a little spicy.
That's what it is. Just like it's almost like a capsation that you're like, oh wait, yeah. I'm starting to feel that now. It kicks in.
Right.
SpiceWorld is a lingering burn.
So, I do still need to buy my plane ticket, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We still got 27 days. So, James, I wanted people to get to know you. So obviously, this isn't your first SpiceWorld. So for people who don't know, I just want them to kind of know who you are. So let's just get a little bit into your IT origin story. So how did you get started in the world of tech that we all know and love?
So it started kind of in high school. I liked it, like dabbling with computers. I didn't want to go to do the athletics things and play sports ball. So just started going the computer route, and that led to computer science degree at college, and then got a job with the Tennessee Valley Authority here in Chattanooga right out of college, and just been in that world ever since.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I mean, I'm older than you, though, so it's just like I dabbled in VCRs before I get started. I was talking at the Rippling event last night, and just like I realized that it was just like there's a lot lower young bucks that I feel like I remember being like that. And then I was just like, yeah, when I got my degree, there really was no computer science degree, right? I got a degree in electronics, and I was literally cracking open CRTs and VCRs.
At least I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just like, oh, I seen a meme about that.
Right. Or that TV that weighed 100 pounds.
Oh, yeah, man. That used to be like a feat of strength, right? When we walk around the office and just like, I need a new monitor. You know, I put it over my shoulder like it was a boombox.
Right.
But so obviously your specialty, what I'm calling the James Petty SpiceWorld experience, really revolves a lot around PowerShell. So what was your first experience when it came to scripting?
Yeah, so that one's really easy. So essentially my old department got dissolved from where I worked, and I got moved into the Windows admin group. This was early 2014. And the first task that I was given was, as part of the reorg, we broke out our IIS admins from the Windows group to now with their own group. So they had their own AD global group, and we had 150 or so IIS servers. And my first task my manager gave me was to go and add this new global group as a local admin on all these machines. Why we didn't use a GPO, I didn't know, but I didn't even know what a GPO was at that point. But our process at that time was to, open up Computer Manager, go, users and groups, add this group to the administrators group. And he's like, I'll give you a week to do it. There's about 100, 150 of these. And I was like, this is for the birds. I am not remoting into 100+ servers. And I'd heard of PowerShell, so I knew kind of what it was. And I had kind of a Python experience. So I was able to kind of decipher a little bit kind of what was going on. I spent 4 or 5 hours researching. I probably hit the this Spiceworks community a few times as well, and found a script that kind of could decipher what it was doing. Didn't really know how it worked. I was a bad IT admin back then, but grabbed the script off the internet, kind of ran it in a little sandbox environment to make sure nothing broke, and it worked. And then I fed it a CSV, and then I was done. So took me about a day to do all of that. About 7 hours of that was the figuring out what to do, and then 15 seconds of actually doing it. So then I went up to my manager. I was like, "Hey, I'm done. I need something else to do." And his eyes got real big. He's like, "What do you mean you're done?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just wrote this PowerShell script to do the thing. Own it." I didn't tell him that I spent 7 hours Googling it, but it's like, yeah, I wrote this PowerShell script, did this thing, and kind of became the PowerShell expert for the company without knowing what PowerShell was or how to use it. So I had to learn very quickly.
Yeah, dude, I got to tell you, I mean, you're preaching, like, I feel everything you're saying, because there's always been that balance as a sysadmin, right? And we've all been there, myself included, whereas just like, yeah, it'll be faster if you just go and do it, but if you take the time to research it, whether it's 24 or 48 hours to figure out how to automate it, right? That time is well spent. So in the future, then you can be quicker than a hiccup and get all these tasks done. But there's a lot of, sysadmins that are out there that are just be like, it'll just be faster if I just manually do it, right? Almost like that's what you're used to doing. But taking that time to work smarter, not harder, I feel like it's critical to career steps now more than ever, right? Of just like, I think you went in the right direction, because we live in that world where the automation is automating, right? The C-3PO from Attack of the Clones, I'll let my Star Wars nerd flag fly here, of just like, robots building robots. I never thought I'd see the day, but that's where we're at right now, right? Scripts running scripts.
Yes, and then from that point on, I lived in the PowerShell prompt. Anything that new came out, like I'm going to figure out how to do it in PowerShell.
Yeah, and here we are, right, in 2025. No regrets, as the tattoo says across the chest, right? But Der Geist is in the chat, and he says scripters were always mystical beings, right? Because you were the ones that are just like, you know what? I'm going to roll up my digital sleeves, and I'm going to dig in here and figure out how to automate this.
Right.
And it was so cool. I remember, like, again, I'll show why I got this gray. I remember just going to a batch file and just like, I'm going to get the batch file to do this, then I'm going to get it to do this, and load on launch up. And people like, whoa, that's like magic. But yes, Actotam, agree. PowerShell is your best friend for stuff, right? And we'll get into it again. So we'll give everybody a little bit of teaser of what to expect from the James Petty SpiceWorld experience. So you actually have a workshop, which is going to be our day one, which is beyond point and click, unlock PowerShell superpower. Then you have 2 sessions, the life of a PowerShell developer. That's right, I said developer, and PowerShell and AI enhancement, not replacement. So you're going to be very busy at SpiceWorld. So give a little bit of sneak peek on each one of those sessions on what you have in store.
Oh, for sure. So obviously most excited about the workshop. It's a 3-hour, we're going to do hands-on. Hopefully you're coming with some kind of a basic understanding of what PowerShell is. We're not going to spend too much time on the basics of it, but we wanted you to be able to come out of there with 10 or 15 very useful commands that you know how to use, and kind of learn them in and out, and how that can start jumpstart your career if you're not already on the automation bandwagon, or if you're already on there, how we can just help drive those skills that you already have home. Okay. And of course, then that's teeing up to my friends Sean and Steven. They have a workshop in the afternoon. It's just so we're teeing it up, and they're gonna hit the home run. I think I got my sports metaphors mixed up, but it's fine.
Sports balls. It just they something 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 hashtag sports ball. But that's good.
But just that workshop's going to be going to be a really good time.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, like that day one of SpiceWorld, if you look at the agenda, it makes it feel like lighter compared to what you do, but it is far from light. That is like our really heavy learning day. So for anyone who hasn't already purchased their tickets, when it comes to those day one workshops, that's what you do when you go to your boss, or the CTO to justify that like trip to SpiceWorld. It's just like, are you sure that looks like Comic-Con? Like, no, bro, trust me. This is just like, we're going to be learning a lot, because as somebody who used to have to set up those PowerShell sessions for you, right? I was the guy that was just like, when I was just in the IT team, like setting up the table, it's just like, shout out to Todd from back in the day. He's like, Jeff, we need about 50 power strips and we need them on the table, because like you're going to be working and getting deep in there. So
definitely, bring your laptop, make sure it's got a full battery in it. We're going to go, we're going to go all morning.
Yeah.
I think it's 9 to 12, I think.
Yes. So talk a little bit about last year. I know we didn't talk about, we're going to talk about this, but that's what happens when we're live. But like, talk a little bit like how you felt last year, and what people were like really digging in your workshop session.
So last year, also had a PowerShell session. It was more of an introduction, like how to the basics. And of course, we had people from all walks of life, people who have never opened up PowerShell before a day in their life, to people who use it on a daily basis. So there's definitely something for everyone. But usually the general feel was like, yeah, we had the basics. We want a little more. Like, we're not ready to start building our own tools, and we're not ready to start getting super hardcore into it. But definitely want something a little more than more meat and potatoes.
Yeah, no, totally, and I can see that. So you're going to get the people that you're going to get the dabblers, and then you're going to have the deep divers. And I think there's a place for both of them in your sessions.
There is, for sure. Yeah, everyone's gonna learn something. Yeah. And if you're not, then you're not paying attention. So or checking your work emails. Put do not disturb on.
Yes. like we do, right? Or else we actually have a new button on our soundboard. If one of my work notifications go off, you will hear it. I don't know if we have it queued up. I caught them off guard. But yeah, we have that. So keep that D&D going to get worth it. So Computer Dave is in the chat, and he says, PowerShell has definitely become a superpower for me here at my office. I've written quite a few scripts that our whole team uses now, from reporting to our VMware cluster to updating data in it, to build scripts that completely automate system deployments. I mean, awesome. That's exactly right. That's like music to your ears, right?
Right. That was one of our first kind of real big wins. We were doing IAC before IAC was really a thing, and we were also too cheap to buy any tools to do it. So we completely wrote our server automation process from end to end using PowerShell and the VMware stack. And of course, managers do funny math to come up with how much money we save, but it was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
I love that. I'm just going to steal that quote. Managers use funny math. We've definitely all been there. Anyone who's ever done any kind of IT budget is like, this is funny math.
Yep, but it works, I guess.
Awesome. So just out of my curiosity, again, this is something, sorry, I usually tend to take us on dirt roads. That's what I'm here for. But like, talking about the PowerShell and AI enhancement, not replacement, give a little bit of teaser of that, right? Because again, AI is the new buzzword, but again, it's very different because it's the word for the world, right? When people said cloud, it didn't affect everybody on the entire planet the way that AI does. And, AI is more than watching Bob Ross and Mr. Rogers get into a slap fight, right? which we see. So like, just hint a little bit of just like, how have you felt like the AI revolution has changed somebody who's like so deep into PowerShell like you?
Yeah, so I was probably like a lot of people. I held off on the whole AI thing. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be just the microservices of buzzwords. if you will, just kind of something that comes and goes. But it definitely looks like it's here to stay, and it is definitely something that can help you. You know, as we hear, it's an enhancement to you and to your work product. If anyone says that you can be fully replaced by AI, I don't. That is not. Even the AI at McDonald's gets my hamburger order wrong. Like, it's just we're not there. We're not there. It's not a thing.
No.
But you do need to learn how to use it and use it well to be effective. Because just like a couple years ago when PowerShell first came out, if you didn't learn how to do it, you were going to be left by the wayside. Now we're in the same boat now. If you don't know how to effectively use AI, they're going to hire someone else who will eventually. So time to get on the bandwagon. We're going to take a look at some of the ethics. This isn't really going to be a really code heavy class or session. We're going to talk about some of the ethical things around AI and its use, and also go over some kind of real world instances, if you will, that kind of come up with people putting things into AI that they shouldn't, and kind of how to get around that. But also, like I said, mostly about how to effectively use these. Prompt engineering is the buzzword of the week.
Yes.
To try to figure out how to best become writing the best prompts you can.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We actually have a video that's going to be dropping soon about like what is a prompt engineer, because I can tell you, like behind the scenes here at Spiceworks, right? We realized the same thing, that it's just like AI is here and it's here to stay. But I think this is the first time that it's a little bit more beyond the buzzword, right? That you do have to have an understanding, but we also understanding the biggest superpower, especially when it comes to Spiceworks and the IT professionals, is the human being. Eventually, the script is going to lead to a human being, just like the way cloud just like went from this giant bill that you get. It leads to hardware eventually. But with AI, it's just like, and it doesn't matter any of the scripting. Eventually, it is going to lead to the human being. And to quote Thanos, and that's where did that leave you? Back to me. And that's the IT pros that are going to be right there that are using this as a tool. So I totally agree with that. You do have to learn it and learn it well, but it's not going to replace you. It's going to be something else that you're going to put in your utility belt. Sorry for a DC metaphor at the same time I did a Marvel quote, but here we are. That's what happens when we're live. So I'll just go a couple more chats. Sactotam, I use it all the time to, it just disappeared. Oh, there it is. To manage 950 public access computers that we have that are not on the domain. No GPO there, so constantly changing things locally. Again, these are a lot of real world cases here. Computer Dave, we started using Claude.code, and it's really helped with efficiency and time to finish scripting. And it definitely has its own learning curve in crafting prompts to get what you want. I don't see it as an IT replacement, but just another tool in toolbox. That's exactly it. Totally agree with you there. Dave, and then CAG16, I've only ever played with PowerShell on a few things, but I found it incredibly useful in managing teams, users, and groups. I should invest more time into learning more. Hence, back to James, right? Because that's what you're going to be there to learn more about it.
Yeah,
so that's all.
Yeah. Hopefully, you can come out and come see us.
Yeah, definitely come visit. So again, the James Petty SpiceWorld experience is going to be PowerShell heavy. So James, before we let you go here, appreciate you taking this time here. So, what would you say would be your goal for the attendees to leave your workshop and your sessions with? What do you want for that one thing when they're on the plane or in the car back to the thing? What do you want them to like, oh yeah, I got this from the James Petty experience?
My ultimate goal is that by the time when you leave the conference, leave my sessions, that the wheels are turning and that you are already kind of thinking about how can I put this into practice in my everyday job.
That's perfect. That's exactly right. How is this going to make my everyday job better? And trust me, I talk to, our vendor friends all the time of just like, how are you going to make their lives easier? Because that's what Spiceworks was founded on. It's just like we have these IT professionals and we have a very tough job and we're trying to make their lives easier, which is what we exist for. So thank you for doing that. So James, before I let you go here, I'm going to give you a chance. This is a plug for, obviously we know you're going to be at SpiceWorld in November 11th through the 13th. You have a workshop on the first day, and then you have some sessions throughout the event as well. But what else do you have going on where can people catch you on any future shows, or do you have any websites do you want to plug before we let you go?
Sure. So the best place to find me is on online on Blue Sky. So it's at psjamesp.dev. I'll give that to you for the show notes.
Sure.
You can also find me on LinkedIn. I do also I run the PowerShell and DevOps Global Summit. I'm the conference chair for that event. That is up in Bellevue, Washington. It'll be in April of next year. It's a fantastic 4-day PowerShell hardcore. Well, I say hardcore event, but we do also have a lot of new things, a lot of infrastructure as code stuff coming out, and we also have our on-ramp program, which is for those that are brand new to IT. Some of our students have never even touched anything in the IT world before, so they get a 4-day boot camp and come out as DevOps engineers at the back end.
That is awesome. That's what I remember those days. Those days are not for me anymore, but that heavy, deep learning. Do you have a lot of blue shirts? I'm just curious, when it comes to PowerShell, do you have a lot of blue that you wear?
No, no. I have very little PowerShell shirt. The problem is, with PowerShell being open source, it's included in everything. So, I have SpiceWorld shirts and Spiceworks shirts that have some PowerShell on it, and I have some Quest shirts that have PowerShell on it, but no just PowerShell shirts.
I think we
should fix that.
I was going to say we need a James Petty's PowerShell experience shirt for sure, and then we just write a script that you wear on that shirt. I'm a shirt guy, so I'm all for that. So, but James, thank you so much for joining us today and giving our audience a little bit of a deep dive into what to expect, and we will see you in 27 days.
All right. Can't wait for it. Cheers for now.
All right. Thanks, James. See you soon. Appreciate it. Thank you, James. That was great. Great chat. Again, bringing me back to my memories. I still got that sysadmin in me. Can I do this? But so, without further ado, we do have a surprise guest, which we are going to get set up right now. So to kind of cue up what we are doing for our surprise guest, we're going to take you back to the very original SpiceWorld movie. But we're going to show you the sequel because I'm in it. No, it'll give you more context. It'll make more sense when you see this. So we're going to roll this movie while we get our surprise guest set up. So check this around, stick it around, and we'll be right back after the movie.
Imagine a world not so far away, plagued with user error, where bacon reigns supreme and the threat of zombies looms large. The fate of the planet rests in the hands of IT pros.
That sounds interesting. Ooh, free file. Uh-oh. IT can fix that.
Man, I really wish we didn't have to stay late and work with these server issues again tonight.
The server room is a life-sustaining force that must be protected, whatever the danger.
Well, right now, I need to protect my bladder. And by protect, I mean empty. There's a zombie in our bathroom.
Well, I knew this day would come.
What do they want?
Well, the server room, of course. And probably to eat our brains. But you might be safe on that one.
This is it, isn't it? The zombie apocalypse?
Not on my watch. Kick some zombie ass! Get to the server room now! Get the bacon, I'll cover you. Well, at least we got the bacon. Dude, come on, man! Just gear up. All right, let's take this fight to them.
Maybe we can just reason with them?
Now or never. This isn't gonna do it. We should have brought the big guns.
Always knew zombies would be the end of me.
Well, so long, brains. You served me well.
Always knew you were real.
Surprise guest, Glenn Pitchford! I'm usually not good with surprises, but we had to have Glenn on the road to SpiceWorld because you're very familiar with the road to SpiceWorld, being the only IT professional that has been to every single US-based SpiceWorld. Is that correct? Correct fact?
That's true. I've been up and down that road a lot of times, as you can tell from all the gray hair.
I am very familiar with the gray hairs, but that's road to SpiceWorld for you is I-35 South.
Yeah, a little bit across West Texas and out to the land of trees and water and all those things I don't recognize.
So perfect. So Glenn, I mean, I like I called you yesterday, you know, the community celebrity. I feel like everybody knows you, but we do have some new people, right, that still pop in. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to give the IT origin story and introduce Glenn Pitchford and how you got into IT.
Okay, that's fair. I grew up reading science fiction, so I was reading stories about robots and computer systems and stuff like that, and that's what got me interested. Went off to college and got a degree in computer science and started out doing consulting work, actually. That was a blast. I was working on everything from lawyers' offices systems to the most interesting inventory package I ever worked on for a cemetery.
Oh, wow.
So, I don't think they get weirder than that. But at the same time, you know, they gotta keep up with what's full, what's not full, et cetera. And so did consulting for a long time. And then almost 30 years ago, I can't believe it, a couple of months will be my 29th anniversary with my current organization. Been here for 29 years. Been trying to get fired for about 25 of them, but some people just don't get a clue. So I've dedicated myself to trying harder from now on. And so yeah, now I am fancy title CIO for a behavioral health company here. We do psychiatry, substance abuse services, et cetera. And I've got a team of 5 minions that do all the real work. I just sit around and point, and they take care of business, which
you've earned that,
illustrates
right?
my management philosophy, which is hire really smart people and then get the hell out of the way.
That is the way to do it, because the whole lead follower, get out of the way, and some people choose the fourth option, which is obstruct. So I'm glad you actually stay with the third option of just like, get the hell out of the way. Shout out to Arthur Munoz, who I was very familiar with, like, hire a smart person and then get the hell out of the way.
Exactly. Well, I have to admit that there are occasions where I'll kind of go, watch me break this and see what happens. I have a bit of that obstructionist in me too.
Well, you got to keep them on their toes, right? Are you?
Yeah, I just want to see how inventive they can get fixing it.
That's right. And how do you select who gets to go to SpiceWorld with you? Do you have like a drawing or a lottery? Because they can't all go, right?
No, it's a big cage match to figure out who gets to go. I've been pretty fortunate ever since I started going to SpiceWorks. SpiceWorld. I've been able to take a worker along with me.
Awesome.
And we usually do 2-year shifts. First year, you're kind of new to it, not sure what to expect, and maybe don't get quite everything out of it that you could.
Right.
And then second year, you're a veteran, you know the way it works, and you know what to look for. You get a bunch out of it, and by the third year rolls around, you're sick of me and got a job someplace else, and so it's next up.
The conveyor belt. I like that. So, but again, like I was saying, plug-in, you have the rare, you're in rare air, right, of have set foot digitally and physically into every single SpiceWorld. So I want to take it all the way back, right, which is 2008. I want you to say, tell me about your very first SpiceWorld experience. And now we're going to the way back machine at the Alamo Draft House here on South Lamar, which has changed a lot since then. But what was your first experience walking into that first SpiceWorld?
Oh, it was so cool. There weren't many of us there. There may be 120 or so IT pros, spice heads, as we learned to be called later. And probably all 30 people that worked at SpiceWorks at the time. I suspect they shut down the office and went, see ya, we're going to a conference.
Right.
And, I think there may have been about half a dozen vendors doing exhibits in the little hallways between the theater rooms, et cetera. But you could feel the energy when all of us piled into the big theater room and things were just about to get started. It was very personal in terms of the spice workers, and even the founders were accessible. I passed Scott, the CEO at the time, going down the hall, and he says, hey, how's it going? Which was a mistake on his part. I proceeded to tell him how it was going. I said, I'm doing okay. And he said, I heard a hesitation. I said, well, let me tell you. And so we sat in a corner someplace for 45 minutes talking about your organization and my needs as an IT pro, et cetera. And it was really cool. He understood where I was coming from and expressed a strong desire to make IT easier for those of us out here in the trenches.
Yeah.
And so the conference was awesome. Made a lot of new friends there. I was fairly new to SpiceWorks at the time, and then proceeded to show up at your headquarters every chance I got when I was in Austin. Just about.
And you usually came bearing gifts, so that always made it a great visit, because I don't know if everyone knows that you were also a chili master.
Well, I don't know about master. I'm still practicing, like most lawyers and doctors say they are. Yeah, so I've been known to bring a bowl of chili or a pot of chili when I come, just to get in the door. Sometimes you'll see me come in the pocket unless I have something.
Bearing food is good, and that's part of also the SpiceWorld experience. So I love, I definitely get a little envious that I didn't get to go to those early days SpiceWorlds at the Alamo Draft House, which we frequent a lot now, and just walking in to think that this was the origin story for SpiceWorld. And we had Jen on last week for the Road to SpiceWorld that talked about how getting into that and building that. But again, it always feels like community IRL, internet IRL, when you have everybody here and they just have that moment. They're like, oh, you're a pass rusher, they recognize you by your avatar, but then you realize again, like we were talking about AI, eventually it all leads to a real human being. And we're all pretty much like the band of brothers, band of sisters of just like, we have a tough job. So when we get together, we let loose and we have a good time, but we also learn infotainment is the flavor of SpiceWorks. But we talk about you bearing gifts, right? So you actually have a tradition that you do for every 5 Spice Worlds, right? When you celebrate those 5 anniversaries. So I'm going to do one at a time so you can kind of give the origin story around that. I kind of set up one already, but that will be our second one. So I should have had a little bit closer. So year 5, you made, let me see if I can get this in the shot. A Spiceopoly. Here we go. Spiceopoly Monopoly game. So what inspired you to make this game?
It's a kind of a weird story. Bed trying to go to sleep, and usually when that happens, my mind is all over the place. And I was thinking, hey, SpiceWorld's coming up in a few months. Wouldn't it be cool to do something to show appreciation to the founders of the organization? They gave us free software that we were using, the help desk, and we were using a lot of the tools you guys provided. And then we were using the community, which was free, et cetera. So I thought, let's show them some appreciation, but how? And I actually had to jump out of bed, grab a pen, didn't have my glasses on, so it was close. And I was making notes about doing a Spiceopoly game and pitched it to Jen. By the way, kudos to her for actually bringing us all together.
Yes. She'll be there.
So I pitched it to her, and she said, I think it's a great idea. If you can get it done, we'll let you present it on stage at the conference. And that's got to be my number one highlight of all the Spice Worlds that I've attended, being able to surprise them. And I remember Scott opening the box and holding up the board so everybody could see it.
Yeah.
And the fun part, no, don't do it that way. Y'all put my slide up, and here comes a big slide behind them with the overhead of the board, et cetera. So that was a lot of fun. And it was a way to just say thanks. And I had a blast with it. Each of the projects I do has to have some learning curve in it for me. And so I learned a little bit about Photoshop and some of that. Had a bunch of help from my developer that was working for me at the time. Lena did a lot of the graphics, including Spiceworks with the top hat and the diamond necklace and all, diamond S, of course, instead of M.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a blast. And I got to write all of the little cards that you do for chance and community chest and all that. So I got a chance to be creative in that way.
That's awesome, man. I was looking for the Mandela effect to see if the Monopoly Spiceworks was wearing a monocle or not. So I was checking that out to see if we had a Mandela effect, but that's just my nerd stuff talking. So let's fast forward. And I remember that one. That was great. That was actually my second Spice World. And I remember you on stage and I was just like, well, this is awesome. So you raised your game a little bit and we gave a little bit of teaser of what we're going to talk about. So year 10, our 10th Spice World, you went even more ham and made a zombies comic book, right? This is actually a very, very limited edition run, but man, to me, I was just like, I was really so excited because I think that was, luckily enough, that was the very first time I got to be in a comic book. So I was really stoked as a comic book nerd, and like this actually sits with my other comics. So talk about the origin story of that when it was just like, hey, that was a cool movie. Let's turn it into a comic book.
Yeah, and I got to thinking it's been 5 years since I went stupid and did something, so it's time to do it again. And I knew we all love comic books, or most of us do in the IT world, because we're still nerds. And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool to take those movies and make a comic book? The other thing I was thinking is, after the Monopoly or Spiceopoly game, I couldn't get out of the auditorium. Everybody was like, I want one. And that was just not doable. I didn't want to be in the game business. And so second time around, I was determined to make something that people could take home with them.
Yeah.
And I got permission, created a comic book. That was easy because it was taking literally stills from the comic book. The dialogue was all written for me. And as you've seen, the movie is hilarious. And so I didn't need to improve on that at all. And then the Spiceworks folks did the most fantastic thing. I'm going to have to take permission, expecting to go to one of the exhibitors and say, hey, let's partner up. I'll give you a full page ad in the back, on the way, way, way back. But the Spiceworks folks said, let me check. And the next thing I hear is, we love the idea. We want to publish it for you. So
Oh, wow.
they ponied up the money to make it happen. It was cool. I was elated when.
I didn't realize that was back in there, but yeah, you have we had a for sale for the Spice Core, only used once, which I think that actually is what saved the world in there. So talking in the chat a little bit, there's some ideas too. Ode to Joy is like, is there a digital version somewhere else? Like, So I see the light bulbs are starting to turn, that a lot of people didn't know that you made this. And again, it was a great go home file, but yeah, maybe that's something we can team up on. When maybe, as any of our vendor friends that are listening right now, maybe we can get a digital version. Let's see if we can do that. So
I still got the files, and for me, the learning curve on that one was I'm an old PageMaker desktop publishing guy from way back in the mid '80s, and of course that doesn't exist anymore. So I had to teach myself a little bit of InDesign to do the layout and all that kind of stuff. And I do want to give kudos to Kat, who helped with the graphics on the first page.
Yeah. The Bam Boom files that are in there too. Yeah, it looks great. Shout out to Kat. She's doing very well. She's still here in Austin.
Cool.
So, yeah, Sean, you may have answered Sean questions. Like Sean said, if Glenn has the original files, we could possibly do that. So let's see what we can make happen, because the 20th is coming up. So we should team up with you and see what we can do. We're very close to 20. So, but let's fast forward from year 10. Now we made it to year 15 at SpiceWorld, and you realize, to quote my favorite movie of all time, we're going to need a bigger boat. Glenn did something very big, so I'm going to give Mario, our great video engineer here, a chance to pull it up. Glenn did something very, very big and made the official SpiceWorks SpiceWorld pinball machine. So we have a couple of pictures we're going to show of that. And I remember walking on the floor and seeing this and literally just being blown away, because I love, shout out to our friends at Pixel Palace and our friends at Cider Arcade last night. There's some great pinball machines, and I was just like, wow, we actually have a SpiceWorks SpiceWorld pinball machine. Like, where did that idea come from?
Well, I had seen some YouTube videos of virtual pinball, and I thought, I want to make one of those. And the stupid part is, I spent 3 weeks trying to figure out the theme for it. A lot of people do. They make it look like one of the existing pinball machines, like Lord of the Rings or something like that. And I thought, no, it's a virtual machine, can play multiple games, so that doesn't fit. Some people do logos of the companies that make pinball machines, like Bally and Williams and stuff like that.
Yeah, Bally.
That just sounded boring. And then it popped into my head, shoot, SpiceWorld is 6 months away. And so let's do a SpiceWorld themed one. And once again, I always ask permission before I steal your stuff. So I asked permission to do it because I wanted to use SpiceRex and all that kind of stuff. And again, the coolest thing happened, because the answer was not just heck yeah, but it was, and if you get it done in time, bring it and we'll put it on the exhibit hall floor.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool to be able to do that. I stuffed the whole damn thing in the back of my vehicle and drove it up, got it assembled, and that particular machine, the software that's on there, which by the way is free software, lets you design your own games. So it's not just the cabinet that is SpiceWorld themed, but there was one game that you could play on that you may have noticed it in the pictures that were rolling. SpiceRex is on the scoreboard at the back, and the table has all the icons of SpiceWorks. It has bacon. It has zombies. That's the one. And it has peppers all up and down. So you can kind of see in that photo SpiceWorks up on scoreboard in the back. So I had a blast with that. again, had to learn a little bit about electronics that I had forgotten from college days to do all the mechanical things in it. Flippers that work, solenoids that pop whenever the ball hits a bumper on the screen, and things like that.
And that's cool. I mean, you just jumped to 3 very different experiences, but also very, like, you touched everybody's nerd heart with all 3 of these, especially. But Computer Dave said he didn't get a chance to play it, but he did see it, and it was amazing to see in person. And Oates Joy said pretty sure that was his first year. So cool. And it was a very special year because we were just coming off the Pandy, right? And that was the hybrid. And like we were trying to bring back the IRL experience. So we had a little bit of, in person on top of that. And I remember that meant a lot, to us at Spiceworks to walk out onto the floor for the first time after a couple of years and to see that you really did something where you just raised the bar. And that's what makes SpiceWorld so special for everybody in our community is friends like you that actually will go at a time and actually help prop us up, because this is definitely the high tide raises all boats, right? So it doesn't matter if you're a vendor friend or an IT pro friend or a spice worker, we're all part of this community, and you raise it up by doing stuff like this. So I'm looking forward to, we got to get this Spice World under our belt, and then one more Spice World under our belt, and then we'll be at year 20. So I don't know if we got to start percolating some ideas, but we would love to. we will shake whatever tree we need to shake internally. So if you're watching and you're one of those trees, be prepared to be shook, because I'm going to shake to make sure that we can make sure that 20-year tradition of what is Glenn going to do this year stays alive. But
yeah, and you guys have been so supportive of that. Permission to start with, and like I say, publishing the comic book in the pinball machine. I gotta give Casey a shout out for doing a lot of the graphics on the side. I'm not that talented. I draw stick figures, and maybe they have both legs and both arms on them. I don't know. But, she was fantastic in getting the artwork for.
She was,
I always want to give. I always want to give credit where credit's due, and not take credit for somebody else's work. Well,
Glenn, again, that's one of the IT superpowers sometimes, is knowing where to get things done and knowing who can get it done. That's also one of the superpowers. Like, I can't do it, but I'm going to find somebody who can. That's kind of part of the job too, right? Because we can't do, as much as everyone thinks we do all things, and we do, sometimes we do have to get some pull in the support. So that's good. So before we get wrapped up here, Glenn, and thank you for sharing that tradition, what are you hoping to get out of this year's Spice World? When you head on I-35, I know you're going to stop at Buc-ee's. I know you're going to stop at West and get some kolaches, maybe then stop at Round Rock Donuts. Before we hit the AT&T Hotel and Conference Center, what are you hoping to get out of this year's Spice World?
Well, over the years, it's changed for me. At first, I was there to learn about the tools and utilities that you guys produced, and then it became, learning about some of the offerings from the vendors, and all of that's still relevant. But for a very long time, it's been about the relationships. My boss is right. He'll say, you can go to the website of these vendors and get that information, et cetera. So I always tell him, yeah, but that's only half of what I'm there for. The other half is building the relationships with fellow IT pros, because I can't know it all. But if I know somebody who's knowledgeable in an area, I can reach out to them. They're always very helpful, et cetera. So for me, it's about building those relationships and creating those links. And I tell them, you don't run a business without relationships, and you certainly don't run an IT department without them either.
Yeah, totally agree. Shout out to, I'm going to say your name wrong. Sumich in the chat says knowing who can do and being able to get it done is a very important skill. And that's kind of what the community is built on, right? That's where it started by accident, where it was just like a feature release comments, and then all of a sudden everybody's commenting and trying to help each other. And that's what it's all about. I had a lot of the young bucks in IT last night at Cidercade, and I realized now we're at the stage where we're paying it forward, and they're asking, like, what can I do to improve my career in a very difficult job market? Where should I go? Who should I go? And that's what this community is really about, whether you're just like trying to find a job, kick off your career, or keep your career going, get help. That's what this community is built on. That's what all our friends, and they're all around. If you look behind me there on that side, you see Slava's thermos, which he forgot last time, right? That's what we. So now it's a set prop.
Yeah, you're right. And I was thinking earlier, you were talking about the experience of walking up and seeing somebody's badge and going, "Oh, you're that person. I thought you'd be taller." But
we're all the same height on Zoom.
Yeah, it's a great experience to do, and I may even throw a wrench in that because I'm ready to retire the little wizard on mine, and I'm thinking about getting a Spice Rex skull and renaming myself to Spice Fossil. Been around so long.
I like that. I fully support that. And you'll always be welcome because like Computer Dave says, that's why we keep coming back to the community. We know that's where we're going to get the answers because we are built on we are human being powered. It's made of people, right? We're like Soylent. It's made of people. So, oh yeah, one more shout out here. I was on the first 3 forums on CompuServe for Novell. That was amazing. I have to come and love Spiceworks for the same look and feel and helpfulness. So, and Glenn, you're a big part of that. So thank you so much. But Glenn, before we go, we're big movie nerds here. So shout out to The Last Drive-In, which if you watch the double feature, it always ends with a joke. And I don't know if you know this about Glenn. You probably do. He has all these jokes that are always queued up. And I've always been impressed with that fact of people who can just all of a sudden like remember and pull up a joke. And you were like rattling them off all week when we're chatting about, hey, can you come on the show? So I'm going to give you the honor of wrapping up our show with a Glenn Pitchford joke. So fire away.
All right. I'm privileged to be able to share this one with you. A televangelist starts one of his sermons one day by saying, "There was once a young man who fueled his evil habits by robbing good Christian people's homes. And one night he goes to a home and he breaks in the back door and steps inside. Just as he's closing the back door, he hears, 'Jesus is watching you.' He stops and looks around, waits for a few seconds, decides it's his guilty conscience. So he continues across the kitchen, and again he hears, 'Jesus is watching you.' This time he turns on his flashlight, pans it across the kitchen, and on the top of the refrigerator, there's a parrot. He looks at that parrot and says, 'Is that you?' The parrot says, 'Yep.' 'Well, what's your name?' The parrot says, 'Moses.' And the young man says, 'What kind of person would name their parrot Moses?' And the parrot responds, 'Same kind that would name their Rottweiler Jesus.'"
There you go. I don't know how you do it. You have them all queued up. That is one of your many, many superpowers that you have. So Glenn, thank you so much for coming on here today. And we will see you in exactly 27 days. So thanks again, Glenn.
Oh, you're very welcome. Enjoy the afternoon.
Thanks. Take care. So, and thank everybody for joining us on the Road to Spice World, episode 3. Again, we're so close, and this is to get us hyped. So we're going to be back next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel, with our friends from Rippling. That's right. That was a pregame last night to get them all queued up for the Road to Spice World, episode 4, with another surprise guest and our friends at Rippling. So look for that in the community.spiceworks.com event page. But other than that, that's it for today. Don't forget to tech yourself before you wreck yourself, and we'll see you next week. We're IT pros. We all have our little tricks to get in the zone. A good snack, a lucky shirt, a favorite tech podcast, or even a quick stop in the Spiceworks community. It shouldn't be a surprise that I have a secret technique to level up my MC skills before SpiceWorld. Game on. Come on. Come on. And here we go. Oh, what the? Ah, what happened? Where am I? Wait, am I in the game? Let's see. Classic. I got this. Leroy Jenkins. Cha-ching. I wonder what's next. Now let's find these spicy power-ups. Gotcha. Got you too. Oh yeah. Whoa! Stop throwing those at me, DK. You're almost as bad as some of my users. Easy mode activated. Oh, I know this place. Come on, come on. I just need to find one more pepper to level up. Ouch! Whee! Now I think I have what it takes to help these spice heads level up IT. Whoa! Whoa! I even have this new spicy skin. Whoa! I gotta get to SpiceWorld.